is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video for this Saturday, but this is more of a discussion. As you guys have heard, Mike Conley is on the trade-in block, and it's two teams that seem like they have more interest in him than any other team. Like I said before, the point guard position is basically a position that's tough because there's a lot of point guards that come out in the draft. Besides this one that's coming up, you don't really have a point guard that really can help you win right away. But it has been a lot of deep and heavy, just like the last one we seen with Lonzo, De'Aaron Fox, and Markelle Fultz, and Dennis Smith Jr. So a lot of the point guard spots are taken either by people that have potential to be an all-star, they already an all-star level point guard, or they have a superstar franchise player point guard. And it is teams like Detroit and like Utah that don't have that. And we knew that this was going to eventually happen as Conley and Marc Gasol get older. Is either they was gonna have to move away from him eventually. We seen the same thing with Rudy Gay. Said the same thing with Tony Allen. Eventually, they had to let him go because they wasn't winning and they wasn't dominating. It was just time to try something different to get them to the next level. And they have tried that. They lost a lot because Mike Conley missed all of last season basically, and they ended up getting Jaren Jackson. And that helped them in the beginning of the season. He has helped them a lot now. And then they make the trade for Justin Holiday. Obviously, they picked up some small players to fit their bench like Joakim Noah, but they just don't have enough. Marc Gasol isn't the 2014-15 Marc Gasol or the 15-16. He just can't dominate consistently. He's not the defender that he used to be. He still is a modern day big that can space out the floor, and depending on the right system with the right personnel, he can still make a significant impact defensively. He does try. He does use his brain and his head and knowing where to be and knowing when to anticipate, knowing when to rotate. Those things that you can't really teach. You have to want to do it. You have to put in the work and study the film and really understand who you're going against and what player you're trying to stop. So I think Marc Gasol and Mike Conley is still valuable. The thing that I like about Mike Conley going to Detroit, if it happens, or going to Utah, I want to talk about both of these fits, because obviously the trade isn't done, but at the same time, these are the two teams that are showing the most interest for him right now. We don't know where he's going to go, but I just want to talk about this because these teams, I think the Kyle Korver trade and the small things that Utah have done, and the fact that they're in the playoffs right now and they've been on the win streak, they've been winning a lot lately, and then they already have an anchor with Rudy Gobert, and add in a guy like Mike Conley that can do everything that Ricky Rubio can't do consistently. And I think that's what hurts the Jazz, is because they just don't have that consistent guy that can really create offense while also collapsing the defense and still being able to get his. And I think if you're not going to put Donovan Mitchell at point, which I think you should, and just let him learn, Mike Conley is a good fit because he's a solid defender. He plays hard. He wants to win. He's a competitor, but he can also shoot the three. I know he's shooting 35% from three, but he doesn't have to work as hard when you have Joe Ingles and Jay Crowder, and Donovan Mitchell can create his own shot and it can help him play off the ball. That's something that he really don't have in Memphis on the perimeter. But Donovan Mitchell is one of the better two guards that we have in the league because he can get to the paint. He can shoot off the dribble, and he's improving as a decision maker. But Mike Conley, his contract is high, and I understand why they're a little desperate right now to make this move, because they might not be able to upgrade their point guard position because we don't know what point guard is going to be available. And the best point guard available right now is Mike Conley, and nobody really wants to play in Utah. And you trade for a guy like Mike Conley that still got a couple more years on this deal. Only way he's really going to be gone is if you waive him or trade him. Because other than that, Mike Conley is locked down to that contract for 2 more years, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it's 2 more after this season. So you get a season and you get about 30 games with him, and you're already in the playoffs, and he's a better player than Ricky Rubio. Like I said, he can create his own shot. He can hit the three on and off the ball, and he can collapse the defense, getting easier opportunities for Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, and Rudy Gobert. And the fact that he is a guy that likes to attack, and he really can get to where he wants to on the court, that gives them another dimension and another dynamic that they don't really have right now with Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio is more of a set shooter. He's more of a he score when he needs to. Mike Conley can bring that consistently each and every game, and he can do the defensive job too on most point guards, and depending on what team they play, some shooting guards because he is a nice sized point guard. But I think that that's something that do matter. Like I said, I didn't really feel like the Kyle Korver trade was going to take them over the top, but I feel like getting the best point guard that's available right now, and the fact that he has 2 years guaranteed to stay, I believe, that's the best move for the Jazz because I don't really see them getting a franchise point guard through the trade deadline. I don't see no point guard that's better than Mike Conley right now. And on top of that, I don't really see any point guard that would really want to stay in Utah. Not this in Utah, but it's just a fact they don't really keep their star players. So you already have Donovan Mitchell on his rookie contract, and he will only become a restricted free agent unless he sign a qualifying offer. Plus, you already gave Rudy Gobert, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, a 5-year deal. So he's locked down long term. Same with Derek Favors, same with Dante Exum. So you have your core, and you can upgrade that Ricky Rubio spot into a guy that can really make you more dynamic and tougher to guard. So it makes sense. He's owed a lot of money, and it could affect him down the line. But right now, Utah is just trying to figure out ways to get better. And I feel like this long term, it might not be the answer, but we don't really know what's going to happen to Golden State. We don't really know what's going to happen to the NBA until the trade deadline is over. And we really don't know what's going to happen in free agency and then when the draft happens. So right now, you make the move that improves you right now, and you still got possibly 2 years. And on top of that, you got to look at it. This could be a big move for them. Is they going to beat the Warriors right now? No, but we don't know what they're going to look like going into next season. So you will already have the chemistry building this season, plus you can take it to another level and plug in some new players from free agency and through the draft and have a huge start. Because that's what's really been killing the Jazz seasons is they haven't been able to get off to good starts these last 2 years. And, building the chemistry now with the last couple games and going into the playoffs if they make it, that's going to build chemistry. That's going to build a lot of things for them in the right direction, and he's a two-way player. So I like this more for Utah than for the Pistons. And the main reason why I don't like this for the Pistons is they already cap strapped. Nobody really shows interest in Andre Drummond. They was even willing to swap Drummond for Marc Gasol just to get rid of his contract. And Memphis don't really want Andre Drummond. So he can be traded, but you might have to add in picks and stuff to get rid of the contract. But I personally feel that if you're going to trade for Mike Conley and just get rid of Reggie Jackson and some fillers and a pick, I don't know if that's going to take Detroit to the next level. If they're just trying to make the playoffs, then I can see it. If they really want to be a serious contender, they're going to have to get rid of Drummond and wait till this contract with Reggie Jackson is finally done. Because if you go for Mike Conley, you're going to have Blake Griffin on a ridiculous deal and Mike Conley on a ridiculous deal and even potentially Andre Drummond on a ridiculous deal. And your ceiling is what, a 6 seed at the best? The best you can probably make is a 6 seed with Mike Conley, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond. You're better off not even making that trade and just basically trying to find somebody else cheaper or, try to get rid of Andre Drummond for cap space. That's how low it has got for the Pistons this year. Yes, they're good enough to make the playoffs in the East, but Mike Conley is not going to take them over the top, even replacing Reggie Jackson to become a contender in the East. It's just not going to happen. And like I said, if he really does have those 2 years left on his contract, you're stuck with Blake and Mike Conley on ridiculous contracts, and you don't really have no room to really fill out the rest of the roster with quality players. And that's mainly the reason why they haven't made the playoffs this year is they're relying on Stanley Johnson. They're relying on Luke Kennard. They're relying on Langston Galloway and Reggie Bullock. They can play, but they're not guys that's going to really make that big of an impact consistently on a game-to-game basis. And Blake Griffin has played like an All-NBA player for the third team and an All-Star, but that's not enough. You need more than one good player nowadays because every team got at least two All-Star caliber players on their roster, and that's something that the Pistons really might have. But the fact that Drummond cannot score consistently really dampers how good he really is. He's a great rebounder. He's not a great defender, not the best passer, even though he improved, and he really can't get you a bucket consistently. Only person that can really do that is Blake Griffin on his team, and that's why I'm looking at this roster. If I'm really going to trade Reggie Jackson just to become a 6 seed at best for the next couple years, if you're that desperate for to make the playoffs, then I can see it. They made the Blake Griffin trade. We was all surprised about that. It really hasn't worked out right now, and the only way you can really get out of this phase is getting rid of Blake or Andre Drummond just to dump the salary cap. But you rather keep Blake and get rid of Andre. And if you can do that, then you can try to find some other piece. They got to stop overpaying. They got to stop being so desperate because now they're in a situation where they don't have room for improvement and they don't have room to really even win a championship in the future because they're so cap strapped. And Mike Conley does not help that at all. And that's just my personal opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Mike Conley would fit better with Utah? If they're just going to get Ricky Rubio up in a pick and a filler player, I would do that if I'm Utah. Because, like I said, you already got Gobert locked up, and then you have the best chance of keeping Donovan Mitchell because he'd be restricted. And then you would have Mike Conley to go along with Kyle Korver, Jay Crowder, and Joe Ingles, and a solid bench with Favors in them. Even if you got to get rid of some of them too, Mike Conley will take you more competitive the next 2 years than this season because it's going to be tough to beat teams like Denver and Golden State as constructed. But I think they do have a chance to be just as good as Denver if their defense and their offense do work the way I think it will work with Mike Conley. They can be competitive, but I don't think they can win it all even with Mike Conley. And that's something that you're going to have to figure out in free agency and in the draft. How can we improve this roster with Mitchell, Rudy, Joe, and Mike Conley to take us to a level where we still don't know what's going to happen in free agency now. I mean, trade deadline, free agency, and draft. But that's why you wait to start figuring out when moves get made, players get dealt, players move. Then you can start figuring out how to counter and build your roster to be a better contender in the West. I don't really like it for Detroit. I like it more for Utah. But let me know what you guys think. Should Mike Conley stay with Memphis? Should he even want to go to Detroit? Should he even consider really going to Utah? Can he take them to the next level? Is I'm sleeping on him with Detroit? Is I'm overrating him in with Utah? Or do you think that at the end of the day, I don't really want Ricky Rubio in the first round and a couple players. I don't really want Reggie Jackson and some fillers. I'm better off just keeping Mike Conley because at least he loves to play here and at least he puts his 100% effort every time he plays. And that's a guy that I would like on my team because he's a leader. He's a hard worker. He has improved and he can rub off on some young players the right way like he's doing right now with Jaren Jackson. So if you stuck with him, it's not that bad because at least you know he's going to give you 100% effort. But at the same time, you want to get some type of future if you really can't hold on to Marcus All because he can literally opt out and become a free agent and leave you for nothing. And Mike Conley eventually will leave because they're not going to be competitive enough. Jaren Jackson has huge potential, but we're talking about 1, 2, 3 years from now. That's where he's going to be better. Mike Conley only getting older, and if you really want to compete for a championship, it's not going to happen in Memphis right now. Most of the players really don't want to go there. Most of the players really don't want to sign a long-term extension. When the last time they signed a superstar free agent, I don't even remember. But all I know is they did sign Chandler Parsons to all that max money almost, and it didn't work out. That was their biggest signing this year was Kyle Anderson. That's how low it has got for the Grizzlies. So let me know what you guys think, where Mike Conley should go, or should he stay, or is it a place that you think he should go other than Detroit or Utah? Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Check out my older videos. I have a playlist on my channel. If you like this video, I also do discussions, season preview, breakdowns of basketball players and team, tributes to the legends where I break down their game and how they changed the game. And I also do my own spread shirt, got my own merchandise. Thanks for supporting that. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that liked on Facebook. Thanks for everybody that commented and liked the videos. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. Check out my older videos and my older playlists. Come join the family and let me know what you guys think about Mike Conley possibly being on the move and where he should go.